I've been spamming Tokyo Xtreme Racer for the last week as it's just come out on early access, but it turns out that I am not the only one. So many people are playing this game and cutting laps of the Shutoku. I'm honestly surprised by how many. So let's have a look at the game and see if we can work out why it's suddenly so popular. In case you missed it, Tokyo Xtreme Racer launched a week ago in early access. It's currently 47 Australian dollars, which is okay, and it includes about half of the full game, which is a fair bit. And that being said, it's polished quite well. You can pick it up on Steam right now. And Tokyo Xtreme Racer, if you've not played it before, is basically the same game as if you went to your local arcade and played One Gun Midnight Maximum Tune. This game revolves around buying a car, modifying it, then taking it to the Tokyo Expressway and going in like 1v1 races against other drivers. It's a free roam game and it is very, very grindy. You do cruise up on another car, flash your headlights, and then get stuck into a battle. And to make money, you're going to have to do lots and lots of these battles back to back to back. The developer, Genki, is exactly the same developer that made a bunch of the previous versions of this game, but it's been a long time since they last made one. The last one was on Xbox 360, and the last game that I played was on PlayStation 2 in the Tokyo Xtreme Racer series, so it is a long time between drinks. Now, this game has gone pretty huge in the last week for what it is, which is, I thought it was kind of a pretty niche racing game, but for that it's had an all-time peak of 15,000 players on Steam, and it's maintaining something similar, like 11,000 players playing in the last 24 hours, a full week after launch. We can compare this to some other racing games like Le Mans Ultimate, which is also, I don't know if it's in early access anymore, but this has a 1,300 player peak in the last 24 hours. We can also compare this against other open world races like Forza Horizon 5, which currently has 15,000 players on Steam, so fairly comparable. Forza Horizon obviously has a bunch of players on the Xbox store and on console, but the Steam numbers are fairly similar. And you can even compare Tokyo Xtreme Racer to Assetto Corsa Evo. This is the other early access game of 2025. This launched to 25,000 players and now has a 24-hour peak of 2,200 people. That's a lot of numbers, but basically a lot of people are playing Tokyo Xtreme Racer and have continued to play Tokyo Xtreme Racer for the last week, and I have a few ideas why. Firstly, this game feels like a throwback to a kind of arcade racing game vibe of the 2000s. It makes me think of something like Need for Speed Underground 2 and free roaming, or even Gran Turismo, especially where the cars are really quite expensive. Like you need to spend a lot of in-game credits to buy a car, and it means that you only get a handful of cars through the entire game. I don't know, it makes you form a relationship with the car that you drive. You go through wins and losses together, you upgrade it, and it almost feels like a member of your party if you're playing like a car racing RPG. I've had some issues with some recent games, especially like Horizon and even GT7 to some extent, just throwing cars at you. Like the cars begin to feel kind of meaningless in these games because you just have hundreds sitting in your garage and you never get to drive them. You just drive random cars all the time. Whilst Tokyo Xtreme Racer doesn't feel like that. You get to learn the strengths of your motor vehicle versus others. For example, my little MX-5 is amazing in the C1 section of the freeways, but when we get to the One Gun, it's like completely got no legs. It's no match to the other cars out there. The second reason why I think this game might be so popular right now is I feel like Genki has done a really good job of making the world feel alive. Even though there are no pedestrians visible, you can cruise past AI drivers, you can stop at the local parking area, jump out, and you can chat to other drivers with their race cars. Every driver has a backstory, sometimes to a ridiculous level. You can spend a long time reading the backstories for all these drivers. Most of them you only spend a minute racing and then you never see them again in the game. But they often have dark histories, they have jobs, relationships, dreams. They have like beef with other drivers in the game. It's kind of wild. And the translation from Japanese to English is kind of a little bit funky, and I feel like it just kind of adds to the charm. The roads themselves, even though I think lore-wise it's technically in a sealed-off future Tokyo where there's no actual civilians on the road, they feel authentic, and I think it helps because these are real-life Tokyo expressways, and that helps to make it fun. When there's a straight line on the freeway, the road goes straight, and when there's kind of like nothing little corners, they're there as well. I feel like You can tell what's a real freeway and what's not, and I really enjoy driving on the real roads. It feels authentic, and I don't know, it's not a fake highway that you're driving on. The third reason why I think this game is a lot of fun and why lots of people are enjoying it is that it's a game based around Japanese car culture. JDM is like huge at the moment and has been for a while, and this game is still benefiting from the Gran Turismo tax from like 25 years ago. I mean, in this game, an A86 costs like 2 million credits, yen, I don't know how much that is. In real life, this car costs like 60,000 Australian dollars, which is like a stupid amount of money for what the car is. People just love racing Japanese cars from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Sort of depressingly, there is a thought in my head that maybe we'll still be driving these Japanese cars in like 25 years from now. There was a comment on my Discord which I thought was kind of ominous. Like, the year is 2050, Minecraft versus Fortnite 4 releases onto the cloud. The teaser trailer is released and you can hear the unmistakable sound of an RB26. It's the R32 Skyline again, you can't escape it. Maybe this game was going to sell well the moment they announced all these cars, and like the R34 was going to be in the game, for example. People love these cars, they're very popular, and we'll probably be racing them forever. My fourth idea of why people are playing Tokyo Xtreme Racer is that the game is really, really easy to pick up and play. Racing games these days, especially sim racing games, are really, really stressful sometimes. I think of something like World of Outlaws Sprint Car Racing, which is like my current couch chill out racing game on the controller, just like vibing out. But I'm still like full on leaning over in the couch, like stressing, sweat dropping down my forehead. Like, it's stressful. But with Tokyo Xtreme Racer, you can totally just calm down, listen to a podcast, pump some tunes, and the in-game audio just isn't important. So you can just like smash out races and you're just like chilling, going flat out in a straight line. It's relaxing and it's also really satisfying. The game also feels really good to jump in and out of. You can go in, have a cruise for 15 minutes, smash a few cars out, you know, bang, 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 and then just leave. This game would be awesome for Steam Deck as well, I'm sure. My fifth reason as to why this game might be so popular right now is that it's an arcade racing game, and AAA developers don't seem to be making many arcade racing games anymore. Now we have a bunch of indie and like smaller developers making really cool arcade races. I've talked about a bunch, including like Drive Rally, Parking Garage Rally Circuit I love, New Star GP, and even JDM Japanese Drift Master, which is coming out in March real soon, and will probably be a really good sister game to Tokyo Xtreme Racer. But for AAA developers, the last arcade racing game I can really remember is like Need for Speed Unbound and like Grid Legends. And Grid Legends came out in like 2022. So I'm sure I've missed some games, but I think it's fair to say that racing games just aren't as much of a genre as they were previously. And now why this is, I don't know. There's an argument to be made that maybe like people are really into sim racing games these days and they play exclusively sim racing games. They don't want to play anything that's not stupidly difficult to drive. Now, I don't fully buy that, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know why there's less interest. I don't know why developers aren't making arcade racing games, but I think Tokyo Xtreme Racer shows that like there's definitely demand for it, and it gives me confidence that maybe there will be more in the future. Have you been playing Tokyo Xtreme Racer? I think it's been a lot of fun. I can't wait to see the full version of the game. How have you found it? Have you beat Cinderella yet? I haven't got to that part of the game. If you have, let me know in the comments, as well as your thoughts. And if you liked the video, you can leave a like, and you can also subscribe to Overtake for more sim racing and racing game videos. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.